I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Education to order. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Schimpf, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Braddock. Ms. Sherfain.
Here.
Dr. Dreisen.
Here.
Mr. Greenbaum.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
Here.
Ms. Palmer. Ms. Stern.
Here.
Ms. Winters.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the Board Secretary on September 17, 2025 in the following manner. Posted notice on the school bulletin board at the Administration Building, transmitted to the Courier Post, Philadelphia Inquirer, and the Clerk of Cherry Hill Township. So we have something a little bit different to start our meeting tonight. We are going to be doing our interviews for the vacancy on the Board of Education. We have 3 individuals here who submitted their applications and resumes to interview. And I want to thank them for applying to fill the vacancy. We appreciate it. If you are appointed, you will serve until December 2026. Tonight, we will conduct the interview in public. We will then move into closed session to discuss and return to the public meeting at approximately 6:30 p.m. And if the board is able to come to consensus, we will hold a public vote to appoint the successful candidate in our meeting this evening, and that's agenda item 13.1. You've all been informed of the process, but I'm just going to reiterate it. You'll have the opportunity to give a 60-second opening statement, a 60-second closing statement, and 2 minutes to answer each question. I will rotate who answers each question first. Our timekeeper will be Ms. Barati. When she holds up the yellow paper, you have 15 seconds left. And when she holds up the red paper, your time has expired, and I will be strictly enforcing the time limit, so please be succinct. We are going to begin with the opening statements, and you will have 60 seconds each. Again, the yellow paper is 15 seconds remaining, and the red paper says your time has expired. So I am going to start on this side with Ms. Manzano. You press the green light to go, and you press it again when you're done.
Hello, my name is Melissa Manzano. Thank you for the opportunity to potentially serve on the Board of Education for our wonderful district. My husband and I are proud to be raising our 4 young children here in Cherry Hill, 2 at Johnson Elementary in kindergarten and 2nd grade, and our 3-year-old twins at Malberg. I'm an educator with more than 15 years experience dedicated to advancing education, arts integration, and equitable learning environments. I hold dual bachelor's degrees in music and theater education, a master's in teacher leadership, and my New Jersey school supervisor certificate. As a proud member of NAFME and NJMEA, I also contribute to statewide strategic planning to expand opportunities in music education. Through teaching and community arts initiatives, I strive to cultivate creativity, leadership, cultural awareness, and a strong sense of pride, passion, and excellence. My mission is to foster equitable, inclusive environments where every student, teacher, and family can thrive while contributing my expertise to the broader Cherry Hill community with integrity and vision. I believe this requires responsible budgeting, fair funding to ensure Thank you.
Moving on to Mr. Manzano.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miguel Manzano, and I've been a proud Cherry Hill resident since 2013. I'm a licensed New Jersey optician with an associate's degree in ophthalmic science who teams up with professionals every day to help people see the world and live their lives a little bit better. Another amazing thing happened to me after the Eagles won their first Super Bowl. I became a dad. I think now is the time that I step up and try to contribute to my community as much as I can. My professional background, which includes years managing teams at Walt Disney World, has instilled a deep commitment to service and excellence. In the hospitality industry, we were an incredibly diverse team that worked towards a common goal. I want to help ensure our teachers and administrators are fully set up for success we expect. I want our children to feel encouraged, nurtured, and empowered with a true sense of ownership in their education. Every student from preschool onward should have a sense of belonging, enthusiasm for learning, and regardless of what school they attend. Families should also feel that they are partners in their child's educational journey. I'm proud of my adopted home and my community, and I want to help make Cherry Hill the absolute benchmark.
Thank you. Ms. Neary.
Thank you. And thank you for considering my application. As many of you know, I've not gone far since my previous service on the board. I've remained engaged and am, in fact, now my oldest is at school to become an educator himself. I remain incredibly passionate, almost detrimentally so, to public education, our students in particular here in Cherry Hill and understand the importance of the board as oversight and its role as the North Star for our students, our staff, and its importance now more than ever, and the support that is needed for our students and staff. I believe in collaboration amongst everyone, whether I agree or disagree. And I think it is really important now more than ever that we come together and move forward for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the questions. You will have 2 minutes to answer each question, and I will rotate who goes first. Again, the yellow paper is 15 seconds left, and the red paper says that your time has expired. So we are going to start in the middle with Mr. Manzano. What do you see as the role of a school board member, and what do you think are a school board member's primary responsibilities?
I think our school board not only should have the attention and the mission of making sure our kids are set up, but we also need to make sure that we're properly supporting our staff and our teachers and our administrators, making sure that they have everything that they need. So it takes balancing a budget, making sure that we can allocate all the funds where we need to, just to make sure that we have everyone set up for as much success as we possibly can. Being someone with 4 very young children at home, and all different age ranges and different aspects and different things that they need, it's very comforting for me to know, for example, when a teacher is sending me these progress reports or giving us these updates as to what's going on, whether it's a behavior issue or something where maybe one of the kids needs a little more tutoring, that they are actually helping us help them. And I feel that conversation is something that needs to happen, not only more, but maybe even sometimes better, because we have been through a couple different schools in the district, and some schools do it a little better than others. And I don't know that that should be a thing. It should be pretty seamless. We're all in the same district, so we should be getting the same type of progress, the same type of communication, to be able to help our kids. And so I want to also make sure that the teachers are also set up to be able to do that, because if the teachers don't have their resources, then they can't come through. And it takes a special person to begin with to be an educator. I think that if we can help them be successful, I think everybody wins. And that's, I think, what our role should be.
Thank you. Ms. Neary.
The most important role, obviously, of the board is oversight and support for the administration so that they can support the schools and staff, and ultimately, most importantly, our children. So it's ensuring they have what they need to provide those services for their staff and our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Manzano.
I think one of the most important roles for the Board of Education is visibility. I've been at 3 back-to-school nights recently, and I saw members of the board there. And that's really important, I think, for our community to see that you're not just behind this closed building having meetings once or twice a month or whenever that may be. I think communication is really important. A lot of times, I think districts, there's a disconnect between the Board of Education, the administration, the teachers, the students, the families. They all have to work together as a team. And I think that that's really, really important. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, we're going to start with Ms. Neary. Please describe what specific attributes and skills you will bring to enhance our board team.
I don't want to overuse the word, but you have to collaborate because you're 9 individuals with very diverse backgrounds that don't all think and believe the same thing, but you're all there for the same goal. So you have to come together, work together, and provide that unity, while you most certainly, I would think, would disagree at times, so that we're still doing what we need to do for our students and staff at the end of the day. So it's that ability to work together, work with each other, and have meaningful dialogue to keep moving things forward.
Thank you. Ms. Manzano.
I think respect is really important. I think that every human being has different opinions. different values, even if they are similar. And so the ability to respect each other and have an open discussion then trickles down for collaboration, for teamwork, for all of those things that we hope that our children have. I mean, especially with young children, we're constantly teaching ours to be respectful of themselves and their siblings. So I think adults really need to be able to showcase that as well.
Thank you. Mr. Manzano.
I have been part of many teams, going back to my my days in the hospitality management industry and in Walt Disney World. Sometimes we were 600 people deep, and we were all different, and we didn't get anywhere if we weren't working together. And we were all from different parts of the world. Some of us, we were all from different parts of the town, different age ranges, and that's exactly what community is. So something like this is much bigger than any one individual here at any of these tables. So we have to make sure that we're going towards the common mission of improving. So we need to improve our community. We need to improve our school district. We need to make sure that we are giving the tools that are needed to make sure that we've got our future leaders here in this little incubator that we call Cherry Hill, right? Because that this is who we are. And if we don't do it together, one, we're setting a bad example. If we can't put our heads together and come up with some sort of compromise, because nothing's going to get done. And that is just counterintuitive to what this whole process is supposed to be. So, you know, this is, I know we've got someone who's a senior over here, right? So if we're not doing it knowing that we've got eyes, right? Because this is a public thing, so anyone can come in. What are we doing? Like we have to make sure that we're working together. We're not always going to agree. We're going to have, I'm sure, discussions and arguments, and, you know, passions might flare up a little bit. But at the end of the day, if we're moving the ball forward, if we're pushing, cool. Let's keep doing that.
Thank you. Next question, we're going to go back to this side to Ms. Manzano. What do you see as your biggest challenge or weakness as a potential board member, and how do you plan to address it?
I think my biggest weakness is my passion for wanting things for my own children and wanting to make sure that other students that might not have those opportunities are awarded those opportunities. So I am a passionate parent, I'm a passionate educator, and I think that I hope that that wouldn't work against me, but I hope to be able to, I think I will be able to make decisions that benefit the district and the town, and not just think of it like a mom or think of it like a teacher or think of it like a board member, but just kind of put all those things together.
Thank you. Mr. Manzano.
Same. It's very hard to separate the parent part of it, right? But I kind of try to approach it like I would at work, right? So at work, I help people with their glasses and stuff like that, right? They see the eye doctor, they kind of see me afterwards, and I try to put them in a position where they are able to use this new tool to their advantage, right? But I can't think of it as like, man, you know, I don't like that style lens. I can't, I personally don't like it, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you about it, right? Because this might be the best thing for you. So I think trying to step outside that box a little bit, not as seeing it just for my kids. You know, I have a very broad sense of community, so I trying to see it as multiple, as every kid, as, you know, your family and your family, and trying to see where we can come together. I think that's the toughest thing to do, because when someone is talking about their own kids, they get a little more passionate, right? Mama bear and Papa bear comes out a little bit. And so I think trying to be as objective as possible with that, I think can be tough, but that's kind of why we're all here together, to kind of help each other out with that.
Thank you. And Ms. Neary.
I think for me, and what I've learned because of my children, right, and various challenges, is a self-awareness, right? I'm very direct. You don't usually have to wonder where I stand on something. It's very rare that everybody's gonna be like, I don't know what she's thinking. But it's almost being aware of that bit about myself isn't always a questioning in a negative way or questioning from a place of argument, but just understanding, and that I am very succinct, but it's not necessarily in a combative way. So I always try to be mindful of that when I'm working with others, as my children remind me all the time. I'm not sure how to take what you said, Mom. Let me rephrase. So I'm just always very self-aware of that when I'm working with others, that the directness is not necessarily to be mistaken for argument.
Thank you. Next one, we'll start with Mr. Manzano. In addition to our regular board and committee meetings, board members have many time-consuming responsibilities each week, including multiple community engagements and reading to be completed over the weekends. How will you balance your time commitment to the board with your personal and work responsibilities?
Like I had mentioned before, this is something that I believe is much bigger than any one individual here. So if there's extra homework or extra credit that has to be done, you just do it. I don't know any other way around it. You know, I've always been that way. I'm a musician also, so like sometimes I'll get the music for a particular event the day before, and I have to do my best to get there and be show ready for the next day. And that's kind of how I approach everything. So there isn't anything that would deter me from getting the job done. You know, if there's something I have to read, if there's somewhere I have to go, if it's someone I have to meet, I've done that so many times that it's just second nature to me. We have to get the job done. Again, it's bigger than any one person or any one thing here. So we just do it.
Thank you. Ms. Neary?
I'm fortunate now that I can actually say my youngest is 12. So the time afforded, even though we are now involved in many more activities and I think possible in 1 week with all of them, that we can divide and conquer, we can leave them and I can do those things. And I have done it before. So understanding what that looks like and balancing that time is not an unknown. It's just, I mean, much like Mr. Manzano said, you just do it. And that's a fair point.
Thank you. Ms. Manzano?
I think time management might be one of my strongest suits. If we could have a spreadsheet, a giant Google sheet in my kitchen, we would. I think, again, like my other two colleagues said, that time management and commitment, and you get that commitment and then you handle it. Our children are not strangers to, even though they're younger, are us having busy lives and needing to get things done on deadlines, my own deadlines that we have. So you get that handled. You have a team of people around you at home that can hopefully help, or, you know, the biggest brother takes everyone outside for a few minutes while you get something done. So you have a commitment and you handle it.
Thank you. Starting with Ms. Neary this time. As a board of 9 members, we don't always agree on issues. How would you handle disagreement or differences of opinion with your board colleagues?
I think most important, you have to recognize and understand everybody has a voice and they need to be allowed to communicate that, whether you like it or not. That's just the world in which we live in. So I think you have to afford everyone to have that voice, and then you move forward. You communicate, and very rarely, at least, I've always found a way to find something common with someone, even if I vehemently disagree. And there's members of the community who vehemently disagree with me, and that's okay. That's what we're here for. You can't possibly have a community this large and not have disagreement. And on a board of 9, you should reflect that community and, you know, how they feel, what they say, and their beliefs. And it's okay. Just ensure that everybody has that voice.
Thank you. Mrs. Manzano?
I think that everyone needs to have the opportunity to speak, but we all should be here for the same common goal. And I think that that's what a board of education is built for. And whatever that goal might be for whatever topic or discussion point is happening, if everyone is allotted that time, and that I'll come back to the word respect that I used earlier, and you're respectful of the people that you are communicating with, then that should be the way that you get things done. And I agree, the community and the Board of Education should reflect our community, and people can have different opinions, but we all should be here for the same goal if you're trying to be on the Board of Education for a district like Cherry Hill.
Thank you. Mr. Manzano.
I think that if there was a situation where, there's a disagreement, I think that if we take that thing that we are disagreeing on and we kind of dissect it, I bet you we'll find some stuff that we agree on. And so I believe in building bridges on those type of things. Let's find out what we agree on first, and then let's see what we can compromise on any of the disagreements on. Because again, we can't just stop, right? The ball can't just stop. Nothing gets done if that happens. So we have to try to figure out a way to keep pushing forward. So I think that, we have to take ourselves again out of that equation, be a little more humble, and be able to think about all the things that we agree on, take apart necessarily the stuff that we don't agree on necessarily, and then figure out, all right, well, what can we do here to kind of sweeten up the pot? I know you don't like this, but I think that if we did this, I think we can come up with a win-win. And if we can create that, yes, that win, then it's cool. And the disagreement is no longer there because now we have an agreement.
Thank you. Okay, you guys are doing great. Last question. We're going to start back over with Ms. Manzano. What are the 3 most critical issues facing the board in the next year?
I think that the preschool issue is a little bit tough as someone living through it for the next 2 years and just finished our second oldest is in kindergarten. I don't feel as though the offsite locations are equitable to what is provided at Malberg. So that is something that I find a little concerning. I think that community collaboration is really important. I think that keeping the board out and about in public is really, really important for the members of the community to see that you're not just, again, in here in this building making decisions for our children in the entire community, and like that's it. You said 3, right? Thank you so much. And I think that making sure that funds are managed properly to help our children succeed and get whatever they can, because we are kind of training the future of the world here in Cherry Hill. And we're really lucky to have a big portion of Southern New Jersey right here in our backyards. And so a lot of cool people are going to come out of our town. And so I think that it's really important that we make sure that it's okay for them.
Thank you. Mr. Manzano.
Definitely the pre-K situation. I guess because that is most recent for us. We've been through 2 different pre-Ks, 2 different programs, and there's clearly like a big difference. And one of the things that I've noticed is once the kids get into the elementary schools and into the other middle school, high school, it becomes a very different mindset with the parents. Like everyone's like cool, but I have spoken to other parents talking about the preschools, and they're like crossing their fingers that their kids get into one and not the other because they there's a difference. There's a blatant difference with them, and it shouldn't be. Before and aftercare is really tough too. The lottery is really crazy. A lot of the parents that we are friends with, we're all working parents, and trying to hope and pray that you make that lottery is stressful. That is very, very stressful. We got to do something better about that. The buildings themselves, some of the buildings, they need some upkeep. They need some paint here and there, maybe some holes kind of fixed up a little bit. We should be proud of those buildings. We should be proud of our institutions, not only in a philosophical sense, but like this is my kids' elementary school, and look how awesome that looks. I think we've done some really cool things with new parks and the new all-purpose rooms that have gone into some of the schools. I think they look gorgeous, but I think that we can always do better. And I think trying to make sure that we are able to get the staff, the resources that they need to get that done, I think is important. So really managing that budget and helping our people out.
Thank you. Ms. Neary.
I think the 3 biggest issues or priorities, I would think, is funding. The uncertainty of the funding we're going to receive both federally and at the state level weighs on me heavily, and the impacts and that changing environment and how we're going to allocate our resources going forward, I think is probably our utmost priority, because we can do everything else in the world, but if we're not funded, it's going to trickle down immediately. So I think that's utmost importance. I think stability and stasis, I guess, for our buildings and our students. We've had a lot of change, so I think it's important to get almost a sense of calm for the buildings and our staff. And I think that kind of ties in with the third one for me, which is our staff retention, staff support, bringing in new staff. It's a very challenging time out there in education. And I think it's just, and it's always been a priority. So don't misunderstand me. I know it's a priority now for the board, but I just think it's going to continue to remain a priority, which obviously ties into funding and so on.
Thank you. All right, we made it to the closing statements. Take a deep breath. I'm going to start in the middle with Mr. Manzano. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm going in a row. It wasn't complicated.
All right. My commitment to Cherry Hill School Board is built on the principles of empowering our students, supporting the educators, and strengthening our community. First, we must foster a deep sense of ownership in every student. We want them to be active participants in their learning, not just passive recipients. This empowerment is vital to the future success and growth. To achieve this, we must consistently provide strong support to our teachers and administrators. They are the backbone of our system, and I am committed to a budget that invests wisely in their resources and professional development. My commitment extends to comprehensive support for students and their families. This means ensuring every child has access to academic and social, emotional resources they need, while actively working to engage and support families as true partners in education. I'm proud to be part of this community. I think that working together with students, staff, and families, we can create an environment where every child is encouraged to excel and establish the Cherry Hill School District as the benchmark for excellence. I think that it's really there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Neary.
Thank you. I think for the role and for the next year, it's important to hit the ground running, to be able to continue to support, knowing, you know, the challenges we face as every other school district does right now. Being aware of that and being able to support, understand the importance of the board, the role of the board, and to do that now. It is a short runway, and there is a lot on the plate of the board and the district in the next year. A lot of changes, the continuing bond work, you know, potential redistricting, all of these very, very large items with not a lot of runway. My commitment to the schools, to our students, to our staff, to public education has not changed. In fact, it's only grown, and it will not change. And whether it be today or tomorrow, you will continue to see me because I passionately believe in it. You know, as a child, school is my safe place. And so it is really important.
Thank you. Mrs. Manzano.
As we move forward, my vision is centered on ensuring that every child in Cherry Hill has access to equitable and meaningful education experiences, no matter which school they attend, what side of Cherry Hill they live on, and what off-site program they are a part of. Equally important is supporting our teachers, the dedicated professionals on the front lines every day with our children. By valuing their voices, providing the resources they need, and respecting the vital role they play, we strengthen not only our classrooms, but our entire community. We may be many schools across our district, but at the heart of it, we are one Cherry Hill. When we work together with shared purpose and collective commitment to equity, we give every child the chance to succeed. By uniting our efforts, supporting our educators, and prioritizing fairness and inclusion, we can ensure that even our youngest learners and those who follow them are prepared not just for academic achievement, but for lives filled with possibility. Together, we can build a Cherry Hill that truly reflects the best of who we are: pride, passion, and possibility for every student.
Thank you. With that, I want to congratulate you all because this was an amazing interview. We have had next door neighbors interview with each other before, me and Joel, but we have never had spouses. So no, he's just so so that was something new for us, but we really do appreciate you all coming out and putting yourselves forward to serve the community. It's being on the board has been one of the best volunteer experiences of my life. I think it's the greatest volunteer opportunity you can have to serve the students, the schools, the community at large. So thank you for putting yourselves forward for this. We really appreciate it. We are going to move into executive session now. So, oh, Kate, I didn't write down what you told me to say.
Mrs. Winters, you need a motion to move into executive session for the purposes of personnel matters, specifically the qualifications of the candidates for the board vacancy. You will be returning to public session thereafter.
Thank you so much, Ms.
You
Gilfillan.
need that motion.
I did ask her for that ahead of time, but I didn't have my laptop on. Mr. Fain.
I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session to discuss personnel matters, specifically the qualifications of the candidates for the Board of Education vacant seat.
Second.
And we will return to public session
At 6:30.
at 6:30.
A second.
There's a
Okay.
second. All board members signify by saying aye, aye. Excellent. Let's move into executive session. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight.